Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 28 subscriber special. I am once again inspired to show you what I've been working on. This is the mob grinding matrix. So, I've noticed that in order to craft, we'll get there. In order to craft, I need a lot of gold and a lot of redstone. And so what I've done here is I have a witch farm that feeds into this chest. I need to automate a few more things, but let me show you what I'm working on. This is a machine that automatically turns cobblestone into sand and flint and clay. Okay, wait, how much do I have? That's good to know. All right, it's powering. Honestly, okay, this whole setup is like really, really dumb. But I have these water wheels here dedicated entirely to this system, which all it does is have this fan here blow hot air into this spot, and it lights me on fire. That's, you know, it's whatever. And it smelts copper. I've invented a machine that smelts copper. If you're wondering what this thing is, this is my grinding setup. Now, it's not currently that efficient. I just needed something that needed to make polished gems, and this is the only block that can do that. I have some leftover zinc and somehow dirt in here. This unit is the auto crafter, or the mechanical crafter. And what you do is you join the blocks together in the back. So if I right click this, now it's part of like a separate block. And so what I used this for was to make these mechanical grinding or crushing wheels, because it's like a multi-block. It's a multi-block crafter. This thing is powered using these water wheels that are hooked up to this belt. I've used a lot of belts in this build. Ow. I've used a lot of belts in this build. These are connected via belts. I mean, it's very neat, I must admit. This machine, I don't actually know what this does. I picked this up from a different dimension. I can't figure out how it works. I probably need more of the mod stuff. Needless to say, I also have a comically large XP tank right here. I used some of that copper from over there to craft this up. Currently at 62 buckets out of 792. Now that is because I've turned off the mob spawners right now. Let me show. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Hang on. Allow me to show you the spawners. So these are able to be turned on and off via redstone. So they all have a nether star. They got a comparator. They have a soul lantern and a piece of chorus fruit inside them, and that makes these things really powerful. So you guys will see how many zombie piglins are about to spawn here. Okay, 3. You know, I swear it's able to... Oh, I need gas tiers. That's what I need. Gas tiers to increase the max spawn rates. So these are our witches. I believe, yes, it's capable of spawning 8 witches at a time. Spawned 4, pretty solid. Something that I've been trying to get around is that, whoa, what's going on here? Something I've been trying to get around is witches drop their hats. So in here I have Iron Forged Witch Hat of Health. But the problem is that like every single witch hat that has a different modifier counts as its own item. And so the way the ME system works is that it can only store X amount of certain items. So you see that 18 out of 63? There's more than 63 different modifiers that can be on witch hats. So I need to solve storage, I guess like organization. This was all born from my Blaze Farm. Check it out. So this Blaze Farm has been working non-stop for, honestly, the past like 2 weeks now. I just haven't really gotten around to showing it. My bad. It has some pretty solid drops, but it's being made obsolete by its brother, the Wither Skeleton spawner. So this thing is ridiculous. Observe. So this thing can spawn up to 32 entities at a time. I don't know if it will, but let's find out. Okay, 4 skeletons at once. It's probably better that way because I only have 1 vacuum hopper here. All this experience is being pumped. I gotta explain this to you guys, right? So, the way I'm killing the mobs is using this thing called a mob masher from the mob grinding utilities mod, which is great. It's convenient. The masher absolutely decimates them. However, what comes out is this stuff called fluid XP, which isn't a problem, right? Fluid XP, it makes sense. I tried to make these experience blocks using fluid XP. What you do is you crush XP down inside of a cauldron using a mechanical press, which that makes sense, right? You crush the XP down, except fluid experience doesn't have a craftable, like a crafting recipe to go directly into a block of experience. So when I was loading up the cauldron, I kept getting confused because it was basically full. And I was like, why isn't it activating? It should be everything's powered. What's going on? And so what I discovered is that super experience blocks are made using liquid experience versus fluid XP. And so what I've had to do is I've had to use this thing called a fluid tank from the Ender IO mod to turn all of the fluid XP into bottles of experience, drain the bottles of experience using a create mod fluid container / item drain, and that turns all of the XP bottles back into normal glass bottles and feeds the fluid experience, the liquid experience into my basin to be crushed down into these super experience blocks. Normal experience blocks. Super experience blocks will come later. I look forward to using this as a building block. It's really neat looking. I love animated blocks like this. Hopefully it's not too resource heavy, and hopefully you guys are still able to see it on the video. This is my sheep spawner. Every once in a while I shear the sheep inside. That is all. This is my infusion altar from Mystical Agriculture because I've been getting into that recently. This is my Mystical Agriculture setup right now. It's not much, but so far we have a ton of silicon. We have brass essence. We're slowly growing brass out of this one plant. The reason I'm not harvesting source from these plants for the Ars Nouveau mod is because that's kind of taken a bit of a back seat because I want to explore all of the mods. 10. So yeah, this week, honestly just a bit of a progress report, and I'm happy to report that factory construction can definitely begin, and hopefully I'll have a much better setup for making microchips next episode. So yeah, real quick, I hope you enjoy, have a good day, have a good week, and if I don't see you again, well, then have a good everything.